الله الرحمن الرحيم
وما كان المؤمنون لينفروا كافة فلولا نفر من كل فرقة منهم طائفة ليتفقهوا في الدين ولينذروا قومهم إذا رجعوا إليهم لعلهم يحذرون.
Yes. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين، واللعنة الدائمة الأبدية على أعدائهم أجمعين. اللهم وفقنا وسائر المشتغلين للعلم والعمل الصالح بحق محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Issue number 257 with Islamic laws. Here it is not necessary that the wiping of the head. Still, we are talking about the parts of ablution. So it is not necessary that the wiping of the head should be performed on its skin. So somebody may be asked, shall I wipe on the skin directly or it doesn't? We said the answer it doesn't. So it is also in order of a man wipes the hair on the front of his head. So yes. So it is also in order if a man wipes, it means it is also correct, acceptable when we said in order, if a man wipes the hair on the front of his head. However, if the hair are so long that when combed they fall on his face, it means that the hair is too long, not as normal. Some people, exactly some men, they let their hair become so long, so just like women, okay? So when they comb it, so the hair will come to what? On his face or on other parts of his head. It means if he turns it to the left or to the right, it will go to the right or to the left. He should wipe his hand on the roots of his hair. Here, when we wipe, he should wipe on the root of the hair, not on a hair, because if the hair moves back like this, and it will be longer hairs. So he's not going to wipe on what? On the root of the hair. We need him to wipe at least on the root of the hair. Or part the hair and wipe the skin. Or if his hair is too long, so what we need from him? We need from him to wipe what? On the roots of the hair. So if a person collects his hair on the front side of his head, it means that he has long hair and then he collects his hair on the front side of what? Of the head. Or on other parts of his head and wipes them. Wipes what? Wipes the long hair. Or if he wipes the hair off other places, such wiping would be void. Such wiping would be void. It means if he, that happens exactly with the women. They have long hair and sometimes they collect their hair where? On the first part of their head. okay? And they try to what? They try to wipe on that hair. This wiping is what? Is void. Is void. It is not in order. Yes. At least what we need from her, it is to remove the hair and wipe at the root. Very good. Of the hair. Yes. That's all in issue number 257. Do you have a question, Shaykhana? No question. Okay. Issue number 258. After wiping the head, one should wipe, it means after you finish wiping what? After you finish wiping the head. So, after wiping the head, one should wipe the moisture with the moisture present. You see? One should wipe with the moisture present in one's hand. Yes. What? Feet from any toe of the foot on to the joint. Yes. Here we can explain it. Yes. After wiping the head, one should wipe with the moisture present on one's hands, one's feet from any toe of the foot up to the joint as I recommend. Here, what we have, if we can explain it, for example, yes, after we finish wiping the head, now we come to what? To wipe the foot. That we have to wipe from the front part of the toe till what? Till the joint. Till the joint. In this way, with what? With the rest of the moisture that we have. And definitely the right leg with the right hand and the left leg with the left hand. Let's see what's it. Yes.
Sorry. But we can wipe the feet, two foot with one hand, with the right hand. Is that right?
Yes. So Sister will tell us that. So, if wiping the head, one should wipe with the moisture present in one's hand, one's feet from any toe of the foot up to the joint. As a recommended precaution, the right foot should be what? Should be wiped with the right hand and the left foot with the left hand. Issue number 259. Wiping of the feet can have any breadth. It means any breadth, maybe with 4 fingers, with 5 fingers, 1 finger, it's enough, any width. But it is better that the breadth of the wipe should be equal to what? To 3 joint fingers. You should wipe with this, yes, 3 joint fingers. 3 joint fingers. And it is still better that the wiping of the entire foot is done with the entire hand. It's better to what? It's better still that the wiping of the entire foot is done with the entire hand. This is a recommended precaution. This we talk about what? About the breadth of the fingers. Could be with 4 fingers, with 5 fingers. Also with 1 finger it's acceptable, but it's better to be what? To be with 3 fingers joined together. Issue number 260. As a precaution, at the time of wiping the foot, one should place one's hand on the toes and then draw it to the joint. As a precaution, as a recommended precaution, at the time of wiping the foot, one should place one's hand on the toes and then draw it to the joint. Okay? Or that one should place the hand, on the joint and draw it to the toes. So here we have two methods. The first method is what? Is to place one's hand, where? On the toes, on the beginning of the toes, and then draw it to the joint on the toes, and then draw it. Look, for example, if these are the beginning of the toes, and this is the joint, okay? So you place your hand like this, and you draw it where? To the joint, not to the angle in the middle, to the joint, okay? Then, as a recommended precaution, yes, after wiping the, or that one should place the hand on the joint with the draw it to the toes, or the opposite, the vice versa. Instead of starting from the toes, from the beginning of the toes to the joint, so you can make it from the joint to what? To the toes. Both of them, we call them in Uruf, we call it what? We call it wiping. So it is acceptable. It is in order. For Sistan, it is acceptable. Okay.
Just in our feet.
Yes, only in our feet.
Yes.
Only in our feet.
We want to wiping everything. But in our head, it's not acceptable. Okay?
I'm not sure like that. Because with head the same thing. With head the same thing. Yes, we just call it, it is wipe. It is wiping. Yes, so if you make it like this, it's acceptable. Yes. And we will discuss this later on, inshallah. One should not simply place the whole hand on the food and pull it a little. So, for example, if this is the food, okay, and you put your whole hand on it and you just pull it a little bit like this, and you said this is wiping, we said no, this is not wiping. Yes, we need to wipe it from the beginning till the joint. This is what we call it wipe. But to place it on the food and just to draw it a little bit and you stop, this is not wiping way. Yes. Is that clear, Sheikhna?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Issue number 261. While wiping one's head and feet, it is necessary to move one's hand on them. Now, what we need when you wipe your head or your feet, so you have to what? You have to move. It is necessary to move the hand, not to move the head or to move the feet.
Like this.
Yes, if you make like this, that means that your head is wiping your hand. Or if, for example, somebody put his feet like this, and then he put his hand on it, and then he make this movement. This will be valid. This will be not valid, sorry. This will be void in order. It should be like this, that the hand over the feet and you draw it, or the hand on the head and you draw it. The head should be what? Should be stable. Both of the hand and both of the head and the feet should be stable. Yes. Issue number 261. While wiping one's head and feet, it is necessary to move one's hand on them. And if the feet and head are moved, leaving the hand stationary, wudu would be void. Wudu would be what? Not acceptable, incorrect. If you do like this, yes, for example, yes, excuse me, if you do like this, this movement, that your wudu is what? Is void, is not acceptable. So it should be like this. It should be like this. It should be like this. All these movements acceptable, but this movement that you move your head and your hand is stationary is not acceptable. Is not acceptable. Yes. All right. So
However,
we continue. However, there is no harm if the head and feet move slightly while the hand is being moved for wiping. For example, this is my foot and this is my hand over it. Okay? If I wipe it with my hand, maybe my leg or my foot moves a little bit, slightly. Or maybe if I do like this a little bit, but the major movement, it is for what? For the hand. So this is, it's okay. It will be okay. No harm. Yes. Issue number 262. The part of wiping. The parts of wiping. Definitely, how many parts of wiping? We have head, 2 feet. Okay. The parts of wiping should be dry. So the head should be dry and the 2 feet should be dry too. And if they are so wet, it means there are too much water on it, so wet, that the wetness of the palm, look, and if they are so wet and the wetness of the palm, you know the palm? This is the palm. Yes. Definitely it has many meanings, palm.
yes.
Yeah, okay, date palm.
Date palm, yes.
Okay, but here we mean what? باطن اليد. Yes, exactly. So the parts of wiping should be dry, and if they are so wet that the wetness of palm of the hand has no effect on them. What does that mean? If my hand, it's okay, it has wet, but my head or my feet, it has what? It is so wet. So wet. That means what? That means this wetness will not affected by the wetness of what? Of the palm. That means the wetness of the palm, it is so little, and the wetness of the feet or the head, it is too so much. That will be has no effect on them. The wiping will be what? The wiping will be also void, not acceptable. However,